India and Pakistan, historic rivals, nuclear-armed neighbors, long-time adversaries, and now both have been invited to sit together on a US-led board of peace for post-war Gaza. Hard to imagine, yet here we are. President Donald Trump announced the creation of the Board of Peace intended to oversee governance and reconstruction in Gaza after the recent conflict. Both India and Pakistan have received invitations to participate. Whether they accept or how they respond remains to be seen. A bold diplomatic experiment or a potential recipe for friction. How can two countries whose history is defined by wars and deep mistrust, where one conducts cross-border terrorism against the other, possibly collaborate on rebuilding a territory as fragile as Gaza? And what does it mean for the region and the world if they try? Hello and welcome. You're watching Statecraft with me, Geeta Mohan. Let's be honest about the contrast here. India arrives at this table with credibility earned through restraint, institution building, and humanitarian action. Pakistan arrives with questions about intent, about credibility, and about a long history of entanglement with terror outfits that have thrived in chaos, not peace. If this board is meant to stabilize Gaza, the difference between a builder and a spoiler will matter immediately. You see, India's invitation is almost textbook strategy here. Neutral, credible, unburdened by past aggression in West Asia, strong ties with Israel, goodwill across the Arab world, a track record of humanitarian aid and institution building rather than military dominance. India was among the first to send humanitarian aid to Gaza through Egypt after the latest conflict. Its reputation as a builder, not a conqueror, is precisely why Trump included it in a board otherwise dominated by powerful nations. Pakistan's presence, however, tells a different story. Israel's ambassador to India, Reuven Azar, has made it clear that Pakistan's participation is deeply problematic. Azar expressed serious concern over Pakistan army involvement, pointing to growing links between Hamas and Pakistan-based terror groups, including Lashkar-e-Taiba. Israel fears legitimizing actors it considers destabilizing. Unlike India, Pakistan carries baggage that could complicate governance and aid delivery in Gaza. And there's more that raises eyebrows about Pakistan's role on this board of peace. Recently, senior Hamas leaders were filmed meeting openly with Lashkar-e-Taiba commanders on Pakistani soil, a stark signal of deepening ties between the Palestinian militant group and Pakistan-based terror networks. Senior Hamas commander Naji Zahir appeared as a chief guest at an event in Gujranwala organized by the Pakistan Markazi Muslim League, widely seen as a political front for Lashkar-e-Taiba, where he was introduced alongside LET commander Rashid Ali Sandhu. This is the paradox. It cannot be ignored that Pakistan's record is steeped in decades of state-linked militancy. From sponsoring Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed to turning a blind eye to networks that have struck across the region, Pakistan has repeatedly exported instability. Sitting at a peace table while carrying this legacy raises serious questions and casts a long shadow over its credibility in Gaza. This also is a challenge for Islamabad. How does it navigate engaging the Hamas and being on the board of peace? And how does it justify being part of the International Stabilization Force, that is ISF for Gaza, while there is outrage over Israeli action back home? History also matters here. India and Pakistan have fought 4 wars, faced countless skirmishes, and nurtured decades of distrust. Cross-border terrorism, disputed territories, and ideological divergence have shaped every interaction. Cooperation on Gaza is unprecedented and high stakes.
Well, Trump clearly wants bragging rights on the fact that he's created this so-called forum for peace in Gaza, and he's also got arch rivals India and Pakistan to be on the board, on the same board, despite being rivals, and that's how great a president he is. It's purely that, nothing else.
Past regional examples offer lessons, not guarantees. Take SAARC, the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. India and Pakistan are founding members. But bilateral tensions, particularly since 2016, have paralyzed the organization. Summits cancelled, development projects stalled, political disagreements dominate over regional needs. Then there's the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Both are now full members. Dialogue is possible, agreements are reached, yet friction persists. India has occasionally skipped meetings over political sensitivities. Pakistan's positions often clash with India's. The model is fragile. Cooperation exists, but it is conditional. And now they have bickered at the SCO forum as well, creating obstacles in the joint communique because of country positions on terrorism. Now, for the first time, these rivals are being asked to co-manage governance, humanitarian aid, and reconstruction in a war-ravaged territory, a task where delay or disagreement costs lives, not just prestige. For India, the stakes are enormous. Gaza is a test of diplomacy, institution building, and moral credibility. Success could cement India as a responsible, stabilizing global power, moving beyond regional influence to a system-shaping role. For Pakistan, the stakes are equally high: credibility, perception, trust. Its historical associations with militant networks, coupled with domestic instability, could undermine its ability to deliver results. Israel's warnings add weight. Any misstep risks reinforcing its image as unreliable in international peace efforts. Trump's calculus is deliberate. He wants to break Gaza's historical cycle, destruction followed by rebuilding with no governance. Including India signals legitimacy to Palestinians and Arabs. Including Pakistan signals inclusivity but risks friction. He also wants to block China from dominating Reconstruction, ensuring transparency over debt-driven influence. For India, the opportunity is rare and risky, not just a moral courage, but a strategic one. Participation elevates India from a rising power to a responsible power. Its actions could demonstrate stability through institution building, not military force.
Well, India gains more from reiterating its past stance on such groupings, which is that nothing that is not under a United Nations sanction or a UN mandate will be taken very seriously by India. So therefore, the logic, the rationale of such groupings, even the one that's proposed by the United States, doesn't stand to reason. And it's very unlikely that India is going to be part of something as, out of the box as this that President Trump has suggested. Maybe it's a good idea for the US, a non-US, a non-UN grouping for peace in the region. But this is certainly something that India will not want to be part of, given the fact that it's so far out of the UN mandate for the region.
Strategic trust with the West could deepen without dependence. Moral authority across the global South could expand as India's credibility is rooted in neutral, non-ideological engagement. And yet, Gaza is no playground. It is a graveyard of failed intentions. Governance collapses, violence returns, aid is diverted. Any association with failure could tarnish India's reputation. Domestic political scrutiny is inevitable. Too close to Israel? Accusations of betrayal of Palestine. Too pro-Palestinian? Charges of strategic naivety. Mission creep is a real risk. Even a non-military role can escalate into constant crises, regional spoilers, and pressure to do more. India must be careful, visible, effective, but cautious. Pakistan faces parallel challenges. Its military's historical support for armed groups in the region casts a shadow over its role. Domestic politics, credibility, and Israel's concerns all complicate participation. It lacks India's soft power advantage in institution building and humanitarian governance, essential for success in Gaza. Past regional experiences provide cautionary lessons. SARC teaches that political animosity can paralyze shared objectives. SCO shows dialogue is possible, but disagreements are inevitable. Cooperation between India and Pakistan in Gaza will be fragile, requiring extraordinary diplomacy, patience, and restraint. The human stakes cannot be overstated. Gaza is home to children who have known nothing but war. Families rebuild only to see homes destroyed again. The Board of Peace is tasked with governance, aid, infrastructure, and institution building. Mistakes affect real lives, not just headlines. India's approach, pragmatic, patient, non-ideological, offers hope. Pakistan's participation complicates the picture. How the two navigate their differences could determine the board's effectiveness and Gaza's trajectory.
I think the U.S. is trying to take the lead in forming this board, and in fact, President Trump himself has taken these opportunities, and even he's not been consulting fully with the Prime Minister of Israel. Having said that, I would say that he has sent so many invitations to so many countries. Some of them declined, some of them also still studying. And I think India is taking its own time to respond. It's just a letter. We don't know Indian position till now, what will be India's position. However, I don't know what is the mandate for them, because nothing, if the mandate is meaning to ruling over the people of Gaza, the people of Gaza or Palestine in general, they are not interested in finding any foreign powers taking the lead on that. But if they can able to have the mandate of the UN, then I think India should participate in that.
Globally, the implications are profound. Success could rewrite the playbook for rival states collaborating in post-conflict reconstruction. Failure reinforces a familiar narrative: history and rivalry trump responsibility. Trump's board, already viewed skeptically by some UN officials, will be judged not on intent but on results. Effective governance, timely aid, and civilian protection are the true measures of success. This is a test of history, diplomacy, and patience. Can India and Pakistan rise above mistrust for Gaza? Can India temper Pakistan's contentious role? Can the board deliver meaningful results in a region where failure is normalized?
Any initiative towards peace in Gaza is most welcome, much needed and most welcome, firstly. Secondly, attention of world powers towards the conditions in Gaza, which is more than a humanitarian crisis, which is virtually a living hell on earth right now, is again, I would say, a welcome step. The issue is that the way President Trump is structuring this board of peace is a matter to be looked into further. However, at the same time, yes, India should welcome and India should take part in any process which helps to bring peace in Gaza. At the same time, this Board of Peace initiative is a reflection of the sad state of the United Nations. Ideally, this initiative should have come and should have been taken up by the United Nations. The United Nations is in a complete limbo. This is also a reminder, if this board comes to reality, which it will, and if it delivers towards this objective, then it will start to signal, I think, the end of the United Nations system, because the UN is set up for this very process.
For India, success is a chance to demonstrate global credibility, responsible power, and moral authority. For Pakistan, participation is an opportunity to build trust, but missteps could reinforce negative perceptions. For Gaza, the stakes are nothing short of survival, dignity, and hope. India and Pakistan sitting side by side at a peace table for the first time in this context. Will they cooperate, or will old rivalries dominate? Gaza may have found a board, but whether it becomes a model of collaboration or a cautionary tale depends on these two historic rivals navigating history, strategy, and human need. The gamble is real. The moment is historic. And for Gaza, the difference between success and failure may come down to the ability of old enemies to act like partners. Thank you for watching Statecraft.